Good morning, class of 2069. Today, I'm honored to be here speaking to you in the same Eagle Bank arena I graduated in 45 years ago. You all, Captain Gown, are probably thinking one of many things. We finally made it. How did we get here? Or, crap, I brought my phone. Regardless of what you're all thinking, in those great minds of yours, you're all ready to face that world. That big, wide, treacherous, brutal world. Or are you? One of the most interesting historical events I've learned about when I was younger was the 1913 Paris riots at the premiere of Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. The ballet is about the sacrifice of a virgin girl by a pagan tribe for the upcoming spring. Mixed with its avant-garde music, with its constantly changing time signatures and irregular harmonies, and an audience expecting another conventional ballet like Romeo and Juliet or The Nutcracker, they naturally got pretty upset. In response to the audience throwing things on stage, heckling, and laughing at his own masterpiece, he turned around mid-performance and yelled, "Go to hell!" Now, I won't go into a whole in-depth analysis or lecture of the incidents and aspects of the riot. However, I do want to focus on Stravinsky himself and his approach towards harsh criticisms of the world. The thing that stuck with me the most when studying the riot was Stravinsky's reaction to the public disapproval, both initial and long-term. Picture this. You paint the greatest painting you could ever have imagined. Your magnum opus. After your final touches, you put it up on display for all to see. All shining in its glory, authenticity, and effort. Just look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it? That's what Stravinsky felt. Now, generally when we face such a level of harsh criticism, almost dehumanization, we may conform. We may cry or degrade ourselves, wanting to please and satisfy an audience we don't even know. Why is that? Today, I won't answer that question, but I will let you in on 3 things before you all go off and display your own paintings. Your own selves. I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Daniel Lee, and I'm a first-generation musician and clarinetist. I started music when I was 3, but when I started pursuing music as a career, my parents were not as supportive and open-minded as they are today. Now, many of my lovely friends in front of me may be thinking that their class representatives and administration chose a rebellious, selfish speaker. To that I say yes, you are correct and valid for thinking those thoughts. However, it is important and essential to understand the aspects of rebellion and selfishness are not always black and white. I remember I was a freshman in high school when I dropped the "I'm gonna be a musician" bomb to my parents. Now, in an Asian household, that's practically a death sentence. I would probably have it easier if I just told my parents that I was gay. My mom probably thought, "Do you kiss me with that mouth?" The main reason my parents were so against my career path was because of the potential issues and the worries for me and them. They would always worry that I wouldn't have enough money to put food on the table, or the time to spend with my loved ones, or even just simply burn out. I didn't stop though, not because of pure malicious intent or despite my parents, but because I love music, and music loves me back. I want to share with you today a work I read years ago. It's called Beauty by Scott Russell Sanders, and he discusses his personal and analytical perspectives on beauty. As I was reading, I was surprised at his many varying examples of beautiful things and ideas. However, because of his many different examples of beauty, I wondered, is beauty inherent in reality, or is it purely subjective? Sanders answers his own question. He says all art forms are potential vessels for beauty. Now, music is a very obvious, elementary example. But we can look more out there. Gaming, crocheting, coding, educating, servicing, hospitality, and all other forms of expression are potential vessels of beauty, according to Sanders. We usually pursue things that we love, that we're good at, and we have a desire to improve on. If that's the case, then why should we ignore a mutual infatuation? So I call you today, all my friends in this arena, to pursue what you love and let it love you back. Before I move on, I want to share with you a quote from Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Good and bad are but names readily transferable to that or this. The only right is what is after my constitution. The only wrong is what is against it. A man is to carry himself in the presence of all opposition, as if everything were titular and ephemeral as he. One of my favorite aspects of being a musician is the uniqueness of teaching young students. When I was a senior in high school, I was given the opportunity to teach at Luther Jackson Middle School in the music department. And an unforgettable element of being part of the teaching process was witnessing the sheer amount of energy, enthusiasm, and naivety in their learning. It was almost as if their hopes and dreams weren't shattered into a million pieces. They would constantly ask questions like, do we have to learn this? Why is this so hard? Or how do you do this? After they asked me 8 times. Now, don't get me wrong. All of these questions infuriated me in the moment, from their whining to their annoying actions. However, a part of me finds their opposition and necessity to ask questions very interesting. They're still in their childhood, but gradually and naturally they're transitioning from a young, immature child to a young adult, creating an awkward concoction of mixed levels of maturities. I just wish we could stay like that naturally throughout our lives. Today I'm not calling you to be a totally different man-child and start vomiting all over the place and defecating your diapers. No, but I'm calling you today to have the mindset of a child, but at the same time, be an adult. Let's go back to Emerson's quote, and let's not take it literally. If we were to listen to his words, we'd all be narcissistic, ignorant echo chambers. However, the direction and the ideas of Emerson we can take. Emerson's quote reflects the thought process of a child. And what do children do? They question, they wonder, they challenge, and they're alert. And most of all, they're curious. In a society where after 22 years of age, we all conform and homogenize with the rest of the world, what I'm telling you to do today might seem unnecessary and tedious. To that I say, yes, it is. But think about it this way. Has any significant figure in history changed something without having a childlike mindset of questioning, wondering, challenging, or even just being curious? Let's all be childish adults and poke at things we've never seen or heard of before. If we all do that, we can all do great things. Let's backtrack a little bit to the Rite of Spring. Instead of focusing on Stravinsky, I want to focus on the work itself. More specifically, or actually more broadly, the type of work it is. A ballet. A ballet is not just a single uniformity. It actually consists of many different elements. Choreography, music, usually with a pit orchestra, and a plot. Although Stravinsky had all of these elements, people still didn't like it. How about Tchaikovsky, a far more praised ballet composer? He had all the same elements Stravinsky had in his ballets, but his works were far more revered. who's to say that people liked Tchaikovsky's works? All ballets are very different, whether it be their plots, their choreography, or their music. There can be multiple characters or a single character dancing like a river or stomping in rage. It could be about finding your true love, or a prince and a firebird working together to kill an evil sorcerer. It can have the most gorgeous romantic music, or the most ear-wrenching chords and explosions. All ballets are different, and we are as well. And I think who we are reflects the art form. You all have your own stage, a way to show who you really are. You all have your own pit orchestras, supporters of your life and expression. These are the people who follow you, and you to them. And most importantly, and most frighteningly, you have your own audiences, the people who respond to who you are and what you put on your stage. You can put on the most gorgeous, romantic, heart-swelling show in the world, and your audience will cheer. They'll love it and they'll revere you. But they'll also boo, they'll criticize, and even grow tired of you. The same happens with every other ballet. What I'm trying to say is that identity is like a ballet. You have your own stage, your own orchestra, and your own audience ready. You're ready. Stick to your performance and let your audience react. If they cheer and praise you, keep those ones close. But if they criticize and dehumanize you, ignore those ones. But if you crumble under the fear of disapproval, don't change your performance last minute. Then you'll be unprepared. Thus, everyone will disapprove of you. Stick to your performance, because there are always people out there who will find you beautiful and who will always listen to you. Thank you very much.